Hello there, LinkedIn family. Jonathan here from Some Talented People. And we're doing a little bit more on how people that have suffered mental health have actually struggled and have survived, and the techniques that made the difference for us. We've got 3 episodes this week, one with CR, one with Erin, and also I'll be talking about my own mental health struggles. So today we're going to start with Erin, and tomorrow CR, and then I'll save myself for the end of the week. So, yeah, last episode. So it's the structure that makes the difference for you then.
Yes, I definitely need a routine, and I'm unemployed right now. Like I mentioned earlier, I was in real estate. I was a real estate agent and a property manager for 183 apartments. So there was a lot of stress,
Mm.
which brought on my mania.
You say mania, do you mean, as was known, bipolar? Do you go from one to the other, or do you just have the mania?
Yes. So my diagnosis is bipolar 1. There's a difference between bipolar 1 and bipolar 2.
Okay.
Bipolar 1 experiences extreme highs and lows for months on end. Like just from August to January, I was in a depressive state.
Wow.
But prior to that, I would say from February of 2020 to August of 2020, I was in a manic state.
Right.
So they stretch out over a long period of time. Bipolar 2 is more what they call is like mixed episodes.
Right.
Where you can feel all the emotions in one day.
Oh, wow.
So you can like go from angry to depressed to irritable. Yeah.
And
so I'm bipolar 1.
Okay. And so how much of the latest episode do you put down to the nature of COVID? And I mean, look, you had the COVID in the States, you had the political situation in the States, both of which are extremely anxiety inducing. Do you think that was responsible?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, to be honest, Jonathan, COVID really didn't affect me, which is surprising because I had generalized anxiety. So you would think that something as like groundbreaking as the pandemic, that it would affect me. But in March of 2020, I was still going to work, working every day. My life really didn't stop because of the pandemic. So it really didn't affect me. I would say, if anything, if it were to affect me, it might have been in my 6-month depression state because I couldn't really leave the house. So it wasn't helping the fact that I was isolating and withdrawing myself from everyone.
Yeah.
But pretty much it was, business as usual.
It's interesting, actually. So do you think that did the lack of job or the return to addiction happen first for you, or were they simultaneous?
So I was a property manager for 6 years, and like I mentioned, in February of 2020, I started exhibiting signs of mania.
Right.
I'd say in April I started using drugs, hard drugs, and since I was my own boss and I was able to make my own hours and no one was monitoring me, I was going to work high and getting away with it.
Yeah, I've done that, mate.
I started using with the tenants, so that was really bad. I started doing drugs with the tenants and nobody knew because no one was overlooking me at my job. I was the boss. I was running stuff. So it was just a really bad environment for me. Just because, I don't fully feel confident in my mental health and addiction journey. That's why I'm looking into a recovery house.
Right.
So I can be held accountable by people who are like-minded people, who are like me and understand me.
Makes a lot of sense.
Well, there's a whole lot. There's a whole lot that I didn't say in that first episode because I wasn't really out to discuss me and my past. But with Erin's background and past, Erin, I really give you a thumbs up because I tell you, it takes a lot of guts to come out and say what's happened. You know, I think it's really awesome. It's one reason I really thought it was cool. The first post I ever saw about you was very, very cool, very open. This is who I am and this is who I was. And I think that's amazing. And to me, the way you, it's just truth. The way you're looking at yourself and the way you're saying, hey, listen, I know I'm in this situation. I know I need help. I know I need someone to supervise. You know, to me, being ultra genuine and ultra, this is who I am. I think that's really awesome. And I think a lot of people out in the world need to see that. And I think it's really great that you came and helped us by coming here and talking. It's really awesome.
Thank you so much for the kind words. It means a lot. Telling my story and being so transparent is something that comes very easily to me because I do want to break the stigma and get the awareness out there. So, and I've noticed in my past, the more, you know, I always say pain shared is pain lessened. And the more I share, the more people come up to me who are like afraid to come out about their struggles or don't know how, or they're confused about their diagnosis, and they just they don't know where to turn or where to start. So I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from people who are like that. So that's why I continue to share my story.
I've already got a lot of information from you, which I'll cut down. What we could do is, I mean, so you've already identified you're looking for a treatment house.
Yeah.
Could you, are there like one or two or three things that you could mention, so someone, because I think the thing is, I'll tell you about my story after, but I think the thing is that we can't necessarily see ourselves falling into the pit. So what sort of things did you notice?
Well, I did want to just touch lightly on, you know, sharing the hope of, you know, my story and situation. I'm starting training to become a certified peer recovery specialist.
What's one of those?
So basically, they work in hospitals and rehab, and they're a counselor without the title. They're a peer to peer, somebody that can relate to the addict and the mentally ill, and somebody that they can turn to on a peer level.
Sounds like a great role.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that. I think it'll keep me on my straight and narrow, and it'll keep me on the straight and narrow as far as my mental health, because as they say, it'll keep it green, it'll keep it nice and fresh. And I just found out pretty exciting news that I have 72 college credits, and I always
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. I always consider myself as a college dropout and closed that door long ago, that I couldn't go to school and I wasn't a school person. Um, so with that, I'm gonna go back to college and get my social work degree, so I can become like a real counselor and really help people in ways I can only imagine. Future pretty much paved out for me. But there is anxiety knocking on the door and getting to my head and my thoughts and saying nothing is gonna work out, you're a failure. You know, none of this is gonna turn out the way you imagined it, and I just have to reframe my thoughts and tell that negative thinking, you are gonna be successful.
Okay, that's a pretty shocking story for anyone, and I think it shows that you can be in all sorts of trouble and find your way out. Looking forward to CR tomorrow. He's already revealed some about himself, but there's significantly more that many of you will also be able to relate to.